Welcome back to Soul Food. This episode is brought to you by friends and family at Soul
Hi everyone, we are back again.
with another interesting topic,
Yes.
which is oh, he's just a friend.
Yes.
Or oh, she's just a friend.
Video session. So you can see my face.
Babe, I'm still trying to figure out this whole dynamic of video.
Yeah.
I am very comfortable with just audio.
Right.
Like
Because like when you talk,
nobody's seeing
you don't really
us.
see,
I
like
have
my
to admit,
expression.
I have to admit, there are some recordings with Caroline. I am just in short pants and sandals, comfortable. Now,
Yeah.
I gotta make sure that we look good, because it's going to be out there in the YouTube.
Did we
right?
start it during pandemic that time?
Yeah,
Like,
we
was
started
it?
during the pandemic. Right? Okay, before we go into our episode, I think we started during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I'm just really happy, get to talk to Keith.
Yeah. Oh, fun fact. Our first episode was, but she's just a friend. Was it?
Yes,
Right?
with Keith as well.
Right. It's
Shout out to
similar
Keith.
topics to this one.
So that topic, I had it with Keith.
Yes.
Today, I'm having it with...
Me.
Are
Let's
you
hear
ready,
it
babe?
from me. So what's the angle?
Oh my God,
Why
this
are
is
we
so
talking
awkward.
about it?
Oh gosh. Okay. She's just a friend or
Yes.
he's just a friend, right?
Actually, you use it a lot in when you're talking to young people, when we talk
Yes.
about relationship.
Yeah.
Like we use it as a conversational starter. Like, what do you think about, opposite gender friendship, especially when you already have boyfriend or girlfriend of your own.
Yeah. I think it's like, it feels as if it's 50-50 when I, just, like you said, a conversational starter,
Yeah.
or before I start speaking, I'll just want to engage with the people and talk to them about some of the topics we have on soul food. And yeah, it's pretty interesting how, maybe one girl will be like, no, cannot. And then another girl will be like, yeah, I think it's fine. Respect is so important and
Yeah.
everything. And so I guess today we want to unpack this.
Yeah.
And we kind of go through that.
Yes.
Or went through that, sorry. Pardon my bad
But
English.
what we went through is not really similar with people nowadays, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
when we ask that questions, we are asking Gen Z, right?
Mm-mm.
And then Gen Z has a different dynamic
Yeah.
in friendship, online dating,
Yeah.
or relationships. Like I found out that a lot of Gen Zs, they appreciate the friendship, the talking phase, the getting to know each other first before you jump into anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
And I think
very
also
different.
Gen
Like,
Z, they are emotionally aware,
yeah.
So I think shout
And
out
a
to Gen
lot
Zs.
of them,
they
are like
know how to handle it. Yeah.
start friendship and they are not dating after that. And then after that, I met another one.
The
And then
term
we are
is
still
called
friends.
situationship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which should be an episode on its own.
Right.
But yeah, I think for us, I think today it's dear to us because it was painful.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was the starting of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
What am I saying? We didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
And I think it became very messy.
I think at the same time also it was like it's not completely you. I think from my side also I have to be honest that there's some jealousy, there's some insecurity. I think for context, did you mention this in the first episode? Like what
No, I think
Yeah.
the first episode, it was more of like asking Keith about like what happens when a person
Yeah.
goes into it. I think for myself, I had a friend of the opposite gender, amazing friend,
Yeah.
and we grew up together. But I think looking back, there were no boundaries. Especially when we started dating. I was excited to introduce this friend of mine to you.
Yeah.
But only to be left disappointed. Like, why were you upset? Like, this is my good friend. I share everything with her.
Yeah.
Like, my dreams or aspirations. And we will talk a lot, communicate a lot. Even telling her about dating you, So like, hey, this is my good friend. But of course today, looking back, zooming out of it, I wasn't aware. I was closed up. I just keep blaming your jealousy. I was unwilling to step into that space to like, okay, actually, why do you feel this way? And I think we also have to be very careful because there's this term that girls don't kill me, okay, I've heard it before. It's called girls intuition. Like we could sense, like a sixth
all over
sense,
social media.
and so I remember when you presented that, like, Dan, I feel there's something going on, this is like an intuition. I'm like, what are you talking about,
Actually, yeah, you put it like I say it nicely, but to be honest, why was it messy at the beginning that time? Because I think I didn't communicate it properly to you. Like at that point of time, I know how I feel,
Yeah.
and most of the time I reacted to it.
Yeah.
Like how I reacted, Indonesia call it ngambek. I merajuk, like I
English is
sulk.
sulking.
Yeah. So and then maybe I started to like say things harshly to
Yeah.
you when we started talking about like something that related to her or something like that, or I make fun like about you, and yeah, I think but yeah, I think partly because I didn't communicate it well. If
Yeah.
I can turn back time, with my knowledge now,
Yeah.
with the way I communicate now, maybe I could have handled it better.
Yeah.
Right?
For our case, and I don't know whoever's listening to this, and maybe they might be facing this situation. I had a history. I guess you could say I had a crush on her. I had feelings for her, and they were underdeveloped. It was just left there, kind of thing. So,
Yeah. But you guys were just too very young, right? That
yeah, we
time?
were very young. We were
Yeah.
very young. I mean, from like, you're talking about like maybe 14, 15.
But we were young too, so I was actually jealous.
Well, thanks, babe. This topic is actually very, very hard to talk about.
I think partly also because of insecurity.
Yeah.
Back then, I always think that my English is not good enough. Like, my accent, and then sometimes I couldn't understand certain like conversation. Then
Yeah.
I just get very insecure about it.
Yeah.
And then I find out that you talk a lot to your friend.
Yes.
Right. And I find out the content of the conversations are just not just surface level, because we just started our relationship.
Yes.
So we talk a lot of surface level. We have fun. We dating. We hold hands. We eat ice cream. We go to eat.
Yeah.
We go coffee shop. Like our conversation not that deep yet. I mean, we talk about serious stuff, but I feel that last time, right? Like when I heard your conversation with her, it's like, wow, that is a deep conversation. How come you didn't talk about that to me?
Right.
So the insecurity crept in. Then I was like, oh, maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm not good enough. Or
Yeah.
maybe you think that my English is not good enough, that I wouldn't understand what you're saying.
By the way, Caroline studied at Seattle for a bit, okay? Her English is good.
Yeah.
Of course, today, through fire, to the test of time, we are married for 9 years.
Yes. Almost 10 years.
But man, it was tough back then.
Yeah.
It was, I just remember having a lot of intense arguments with you. End up very frustrated. I loved you. I really, really loved you. I saw a future with you, and I was just like trying my best to get you to understand,
Yeah.
and then at the same time, I didn't know how to handle.
At the same time,
this-
I didn't know how to communicate my feeling to you.
Shout out to our mentors who guide us and help me, but it took me a long while. I have to admit, it was my ego and my pride as well. I'm just like, no, Caroline is seeing this very wrongly. She got to see it from my perspective, and you were like, no, babe, there's something going on. There's something going on. And fast forward today, having conversations with some people today, quite similar, some of their struggles that they have, right?
But I remember my jealousy is not like, oh, you are cheating on her.
Yeah.
Are you cheating on me with her? But no, not at all. I mean, I know you are a very loyal person. I know you wouldn't go there.
Yeah.
It's just like, I feel like how come I feel you have a deeper emotional attachment to her than to me, but also at the
Which,
same
by
time,
the way, when Caroline said that, then you've got this emotional, you use the word emotional intimacy. Guys, I went berserk. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what accusation is that? And thank you for putting it very nicely, emotional attachment, right? But yeah, emotional attachment, emotional intimacy.
and could it be
Um,
cultural differences as well? Like, I mean,
yeah.
like I came from Jakarta, from Indonesia. I don't know, like I never see anyone like that. Like the moment you are dating, you don't really. I don't know. Maybe it's just my circle. Maybe it's not cultural.
I
But is
mean,
it like for you guys? Are you guys like more
I guess
like the way you do your friendship is
I
more?
dare not say it's a Malaysian thing, babe. Like I dare not say it, but I do know there are people who are okay with the opposite gender kind of friendship. Which, by the way, I mean, whoever's listening to this, it's very important to understand also that we are not going against opposite gender relationship, because there are some healthy opposite gender
Yeah.
relationships, you know, and
Friendship.
friendship.
Yeah.
Sorry, opposite gender friendship. Sorry, that are healthy,
Yeah.
that are respectful.
Yeah.
That means, what is respectful? They understand their friends of the opposite genders, spouses, like, you know, maybe like, oh, Dan now has a girlfriend. Hey, I'm a girl. I need to also protect that space,
Yeah.
you know, because I remember when we started dating, shout out to our good friends who hook us up, Ivan and Matthias. They were
Yes.
great bros. They were great bros. But remember that conversation I had with you
Uh-huh.
about like being too
Oh
close to
yeah,
your
yeah.
bro friends?
Yeah, we had a conversation, right?
Yeah.
I think in the past, like I had this habit, like I'm very touchy. I mean, not
Yeah.
sexual touchy, but I'm very friendly to my friends, and then like I will hold their hands like that, and then they will like, what do you call that? Like
Like a bro
their
hug, like a
hands
bro hug.
over
Yeah.
my shoulder, and then I'm just like very, because they are really like, before you were in the picture, they were really like the one who always like go with me,
Yeah.
like kind of like
Which
protector to
by the
me.
way, they were great friends
Yeah,
to
they're
Caroline. They
good
were like
friends.
brothers who take care of
Like
you.
when I always couldn't finish my meal. Like one portion of my meal is always too much for me. Then I will eat half or a quarter. Then there will be standby on my right and left, waiting for my food.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're that kind of friend.
So that
But
was the dynamic. Yep, yep.
I remember you had a conversation with me and you were like, babe, now we are together. Do you want to? You actually handle it better than I handle it. I
Thank you,
communicate
babe.
it to you, right? But since then,
Yeah.
you know that I apologize, and I really like have some boundaries with like
Yeah.
opposite gender friend.
And so I think that's why for us, you felt like, man, I did this for you. Why you
Yeah,
can't do this for me? Why you
yeah.
can't?
It was like,
Why you can't? Yeah,
you know, I
be the
remember
same.
our arguments about this, right? Went on for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Was it the first 2 years of our relationship? Because it started when we just started dating, right? 2 years that we have to talk to people, I mean, to
Yeah.
our leaders.
Yeah.
And then we talk to one another, a lot of arguments. Some are, ending nicely, some not
Yeah.
so nice. Took us some
You make it
times,
sound
right?
so not so nice. It was heated,
It was
babe.
bad,
It was
yeah.
bad. On the brink of breakup at times, but I thank God that we pulled through.
Yeah.
I think I have to admit the change really is when I thought about the future. When I thought about like, look, I'm going to marry you. I want to marry you. And if I'm going to marry you, is this okay? Now that was a game changer. Like when I had the, so to speak, end in mind. Like, I want to marry you, because if I want to marry you, then you are my first priority. The dynamics change,
Yeah.
because I want to be very careful here. Opposite gender friendship is not wrong,
Yeah.
but if it's inspiring, if it's inciting more problems in a relationship, and if it's not dealt with properly, then you really have to have that conversation, that is
Yeah.
very, very tough. Instead of, some of these couples we talk to, they just kind of brush it aside.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a friend. They know each other for such a long time. I don't want my boyfriend to know that or feel that I'm a jealous kind of person. But then everything is swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you marry this person and then, hey, how come you're this kind of person, and this thing blows up. So today, I think the conversation is really to challenge every listener to have that tough conversation, that tough conversation that we had. And I'm glad we had it, babe.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that there were people.
I wish we could have done it
people
sooner,
around us.
right?
Yeah.
That we don't have to drag it for so long.
Yeah.
But you were young, we were dumb.
We were dumb. I mean, again, like I said, I was prideful, unwilling to lose, wanted to prove to you that it's okay. But for our case, which maybe some of the listeners might relate, for our case, there were unresolved moments, and I had to talk to this friend of mine and to hey, this is me and Caroline are heading this somewhere. I just feel like what's happening with this. And mind you, that conversation with my friend, it wasn't an easy one. It wasn't an easy one, and I had to think again and again. Am I making the right decision and what's going on? But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I had that conversation.
It was a really delicate situation, right? It
It
must be
was.
so difficult for you.
It was.
I remember you came to me and you were like, I have a conversation with her. And then you looked so sad and you were like, she cried.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I relieve you have that conversation, but at the same time, there is anger also in me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you are sad that she cried. What about I've been crying?
Well,
It must be so difficult for you. So I mean,
Thanks, babe,
this
but yeah.
conversation, right? Like, if any of our listeners going through this, they have opposite gender
Friendship.
friends, like best friends, and then now they are dating. They are starting to date. What should they do? Like what help them to ensure respect to their boyfriend or girlfriend,
Right.
while maintaining their meaningful friendship with the opposite
Right.
gender? What do you think
I
they
think
should do?
first, the most important thing is have that conversation.
Yeah.
Bring it out. Don't be scared. I think a lot of couples we've met are very scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared what my partner would think about me. I'm
Yeah.
scared what my girlfriend would think about me.
I'm scared that my boyfriend think that I'm a jealous person.
Yes.
I don't like that, but I'm actually is.
Which by the way, actually, jealousy
Actually,
itself.
jealousy to certain degrees.
Jealousy
like,
itself, I don't think it's wrong. The feeling,
Right.
the feeling of it, right? Because it's
I mean, there's passion, there's love, there is feeling, right?
there's passion. It's an indicator there is passion. It's an indicator that you love that person.
Yeah.
There's a sense of possessiveness. This is
Right.
mine, right?
It's more like, what are we gonna do about this feeling, right?
Of course, it's always the reaction or the
Yes.
response to it. So now I have felt jealousy.
But it's
How to
harder
respond to it.
to determine what should we do about this feeling. If you first thing first, you don't admit that you're jealous.
Yeah.
I think that was the case for me. Is it?
I think the
Did I
party.
say I jealous that time?
You did mention.
Oh, okay.
You did mention. you're
Man, it's actually
jealous.
very long time ago.
Yeah.
We've been married for 10 years, dated 5
5 years, right?
So it's been like 15 years.
Yeah, almost 50 years ago.
We are old, babe.
That's another conversation for another day, babe. But it's crazy because thinking about that conversation we had back then. Hey, what's going on? This person that I used to share my dreams, my aspiration with, my journey, my ups and my downs. Again, the shift was when I thought about marriage.
Yeah.
And I thought about the future with you. And I remember Keith talking about in that first podcast, who is your trench buddy? Who is that person that you want to be with when the going gets tough? And I begin to realize, hey, you weren't there. And I'm like, oh no, something's got to change. Something's got to evolve here.
Yeah.
And again, for our case, if I could turn back time, I really wish that all of us could sit down
Yeah.
and talk about it and address it, But yeah, we didn't have the opportunity. Sadly,
Yeah.
it ended badly. And I pray my friend is doing well, and she's doing well out there. And I also know that feeling that some people who have friends of the opposite gender, because it's only natural, right? When you grow up with that friend, your, so to speak, this friend who was your trench buddy. And again, mind you, opposite gender friend doesn't mean a bad person.
Yeah.
They could be there encouraging you, even wise counsel, even calling you out, like, hey, you don't be a playboy, behave yourself, that sort of thing, like really call you out. And yeah,
So the difficult question is, just now I asked you, right? How can we ensure respecting our boyfriend or girlfriend while at the same time maintaining the friendship with
Yeah.
our opposite gender best friend? And you were saying that have a conversation
Yeah.
with both party, right?
Yeah.
But what if, right? The situation is
Ooh.
your girlfriend say, no, it's either her or me.
Oh.
What are you gonna do?
Well, that's the end of our episode, guys. We will see.
It's so difficult, right?
Right. I think, okay, what we try to do here is Soul Food.
Am I putting you in a corner?
No, babe, no, babe. I think what we try to do here at Soul Food is to really promote health.
Yeah.
That attitude or that behavior, sorry but not sorry, it's actually a very unhealthy trait. Because you are actually pushing.
Threatening.
You are threatening. That's right,
Yeah.
babe. You're threatening. And looking back in our conversation, when you say that, right? I
What I
remember,
say?
remember you say like it's either her
Did
or
I
me.
say?
Yeah, babe. In those intense moments, again, looking back, I don't blame you. You were angry. You were passionate. I mean, it's easy to say now, right? Because it's 15 years later. But during that moment, I'm like, what's going on? It's so not understanding. And I keep blaming you. But I'm sorry, babe, during that time. But yeah, if you ever come to that point where like it's either me or her.
What do you meet both? Like talk to two person at the same time. Isn't that better, right?
That's what you're trying to propose, right?
Right.
Like if you can meet both at the same time.
Why we didn't then?
Again, we didn't because we were immature. We didn't because I guess we were dealing with a lot of insecurities. We were dealing with a lot of I guess personal unresolved issues as well.
Yeah.
And it took time.
Yeah.
It really took time. And again, babe, we are where we are today because of our leaders and our mentors who, called us out, who were patient enough to journey with us and like, hey, is this the best way? I remember my mentor asking me like, hey, Daniel, I know this is a very complex situation, but what do you want for your future? I mean, it's a very simple question. What do you want for your future? Who is your trench buddy? Just very simple questions like this. And because if we just get lost in the sauce, right, you won't find any solution. And I think, thanks for asking that very difficult question, right? It's either me or her. Sorry, but not sorry. It is actually a very immature approach. If you are going to be mature about it, it's going to be like, hey, in fact, looking back, what I could have done better is, hey, sayang, I've got this friend of mine, opposite gender. Again, having the knowledge I have now and rewinding to that time, we are very close. I used to share with her my dreams and all of it, and she's a really good buddy. Maybe it might be uncomfortable, but I would love for you to meet her and have this conversation. Are you okay with it? Like, if I'm going to say this, what do you think? How would you respond or react?
I feel respected because you asked
Right.
me. Yeah. Well, I think like for us, right, it was at the beginning of our relationship that time, right? So it should be done that way. Communication is very important.
Yeah.
Like, I think we are a better communicator now to one another.
Of course.
Don't you think? Like, yeah, I mean, in the past,
To hell and fire, we are back. Yeah.
But okay, that is like clearly you and her, nothing happened. It's just more like an adjustment from like a previous dynamic in the friendship to now you are dating, right? But what if, right?
What if what? Oh my gosh.
Someone out there, they have a opposite gender best friend, and then they they have a
Say it out.
girlfriend or boyfriend.
Yeah.
So actually, I we talked to some young couples, like young peoples who are dating, and then the boyfriend actually have like girl best friend somewhere texting. Oh, nowadays you guys play games like overnight all the time, talking all
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
time,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And like if they want to know, let's say this girl or this boy want to know like what are the signs of a boundary being crossed? Like how should I when do I need to start questioning or confronting or have that conversation with my boyfriend and girlfriend
Right.
about this conversation on this about these issues.
Again, the first indicator is if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel jealousy, if you feel just have an itch of something, right? I think it's just good to just communicate it out,
Yeah.
right? And then talk about it. Then the next thing is defining what is a boundary. Like
Yeah.
what did I say it correctly in this sentence? Like you got to define what is the meaning of the boundary for your relationship.
Okay.
Because boundaries can mean very differently for different people.
Okay.
Like for example, we know of this young couple who are involved in games, and then I can't remember who is it, the boyfriend or girlfriend. I think let's just say the girlfriend goes to sleep, but the boyfriend is still playing games, and here he is playing games, right, online, and he's still chatting with this
Yeah.
opposite gender friend. And they are just having fun and talking and all. And then this girl actually voiced out like, "Hey, I feel uncomfortable." And this guy was feeling like, "What's wrong? I'm just playing games. It's just a gaming world." So, I think dating in the future is changing. Because for me, my personal opinion, okay, again, this is my personal opinion. It's late at night already, and you have a girlfriend or a wife. It is really not wise to be playing games with an opposite gender. You know, and I think it also this statement goes out to even like if you're going to hang out with a friend at Mamak, right? If or go to a bar or something to hang out with an opposite gender when you have your girlfriend or your boyfriend at home, like is that the wisest decision? You know, is that the wise thing to do? Because again, the argument will come to no end. You know, oh, this is my friend. Why you think so much and everything? So I think really to define the boundary,
Yeah.
like, hey, babe, we are in this relationship. I would really appreciate that if we are exclusive, and what would exclusive look like?
Yeah.
You know, I really feel respected if when I go to bed and you want to play games, go ahead and play games. But I would feel comfortable if you're playing games with the same gender, with just your bros. And if he or she has a good opposite gender friend that always usually play games at night, this is where you really have to have that serious conversation lah, right? Like, okay, I don't think it's wise anymore. Look, I'm in this season where I'm dating this girl. She's not too comfortable with me, going to this. Because again, I will also throw back to the friend. What is a mature friendship? Right? I should also understand for my friend. My friend is dating now.
Yeah.
Because if we sidetrack a little bit, right? We sidetrack a little bit for a moment. I personally don't appreciate guy friends who would like make fun of me. Like, oh, Daniel is whipped. He's gotta go back home and be with his wife. He forget his bros
Yeah.
already. Go back, go back to your girlfriend, or go back to, go back home, like that sort of thing. I don't really appreciate it, because you're not making it easy to be friends. So I think again, we've talked about this in the previous episodes before, like how when you start dating, the dynamics of friendship changes,
Yeah.
right? So I think this also applies to opposite gender friendship. It has to change, Yeah. So again, define what is being exclusive. Define what is a boundary like
Yeah.
for both of you. Very, very important.
Right. I suddenly remember in the past, like when you
I'm very scared when Caroline
when you
remembers
had
something from the
that
past.
conversation with me about my friend who are opposite gender, Ivan and Theos that time, right? I don't feel that I am being cornered at all the way you talk to me, and I don't feel that jealousy. Like I feel that you love me and then you want me only for you. I mean that feels good, but I don't feel like you're jealous.
Yeah.
Right. Very different with my approach to you that time. But I remember what you did. What you did was actually you friend them. You friend my bros. You
Yeah.
friend Ivan and Theos to the point that you become closer to them than I'm closer to them after that. You
Yeah.
kind of steal my best friend.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, right.
And up until now, I think you are closer to Ivan than I'm to Ivan.
Yeah.
But because of that also, I think I do the same thing. Like even like to Ivan, right? I make friend to Ivan's wife. Like I become closer to his wife than to him right now. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
maybe that could help. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Definitely. I mean, since you bring this up, I'm sure back then, if we were healthier and if we approach it differently, I'm sure you and my friend today will be good friends as well.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, it's sad that it turned out sour. Again, I don't blame you for this. It's us. You know, it's us. We were not mature handling this situation. So you're right. You know, with Ivan and with Theos, I mean, they are great guys
Yeah.
at the end of the day. You know, and I think now we have learned, and you also approach Ivan and also get to know his wife, and now, I mean, you're way better, babe. You know, even with my friends and their wives, you also reach out and hang out with them. Of course, we are in a way healthier position and healthier spot. But I think today, as we come to a conclusion for this, I think it's so important to have that conversation, that hard conversation. It sounds so simple. Have a conversation, right? No, it's not. It's not easy. It's very, very hard.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, what did I say? Did I say it sound hard? No, it may sound very easy to have that conversation, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard. Just have it.
Yeah.
Have that conversation, talk to your loved ones, and then battle it out.
Yes.
Define what is that boundary, define what is exclusivity. You know,
that's
Caroline and I, we are still learning like, what is dating like in the future? Right? Dating is evolving so fast. You know, those days people will use terms like courtship, you know, or confirmation, or like
You don't like that term.
yeah, I don't like that term, right? Or now dating could be like friendship first, then I date.
Yeah.
Dating now could be like I met you for 1 week and then I realized that we have a good vibe and then we be exclusive. So the dating game is changing so fast, you know. But I think at the essence of it, where is the respect?
Yeah.
Where is the love? Where is the part where you have that hard conversation? So, hey, if you are struggling with this and today's conversation has, you know, maybe got you nudging your loved ones, DM me and Caroline. We would love to connect and
Yeah.
talk to you. And drop us an email if you are going through something, and we will do our best to respond to you as soon as possible. Well, that's all for this episode. Tune in for the next one.